It's a shambles. Absolute shambles.
Now, what do you do when you're a rich, racist millionaire and think that just because you've ran a number of businesses, you have this overinflated belief that you should also run a country and know what's best for everyone else? Yes, you get into politics and join a bigoted party. Yes, I give you the next big political powerhouse and Space Karen's big pick as future Refork leader and possibly future Prime Minister, Rupert Lowe. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when Rupert Lowe isn't desperately trying to stop children from being protected from abuse, he's delivering the financial equivalence of a drunk history lesson, where Henry VIII, Weimar Germany, Elon Musk and Javier Milei, whatever his name is, somehow form the Avengers of monetary policy and making a complete tit of himself. And if you're wondering what unites these bizarre references, the answer is absolutely nothing except Rupert's unchecked enthusiasm for economic doomsday analogies and absolutely embarrassing himself. Do you want to get a little taste of this mesmerising speech from racist Rupert? Well, that's what the boring racist sounded like to me, and judging by the rest of them sat around him too, that's all they heard as well. Let's start with the headline act. Banning quantitative easing. Lowe paints QE as some sinister plot cooked up by third world dictators and Keynesian overlords. He fails to mention that QE is a standard tool used by almost every advanced economy during crisis. Sure, it's not perfect, has its pros and cons, but equating it to Henry VIII melting down coins for a bacchanalian overspending is a bit rich. Pun intended as well. Last time I checked, the Bank of England want minting £50 notes with copper to fund another war with France. And oh, the gold standard. What is it about gold that gets politicians like Lowe so misty-eyed? He talks about gold as if it's Excalibur. Pull it out of the rock and Britain's economy will be saved. Newsflash, the gold standard died for a reason. It's like asking your doctor to treat a headache with leeches because that's how they did it in the 18th century, you know. Then comes a history lecture where he dusts off examples like Weimar Germany and John Law's Mississippi scheme to prove that printing money is bad. Hyperinflation is terrible, but comparing QE to printing 100 trillion mark notes in Weimar Germany is like comparing a gentle jog to a marathon sprint. Both involve running, but the outcomes are a little different. And as for John Law's Ponzi scheme, well, at least it gave France a fun chapter in its history books. Lowe's fascination with Argentina's libertarian president, Javier Milei, whatever his name is, perhaps the most bizarre detour. He presents Milei slashing public sector jobs and austerity as a glittering example of economic reform. But what he doesn't mention is that Argentina's economy still teeters on the edge of disaster, with millions living in poverty. That's the bit they skip in libertarian fairy tales, isn't it? But the piece de resistance is Lowe's conspiracy theory vibes about central banks being uncontrolled and reckless. And if you squint, you can almost see him in a tinfoil hat, railing against the Illuminati for manipulating interest rates. And let's not forget his nostalgic yearning for the days when money was real and capitalism was true. Ah yes, the good old days when robber barons controlled the economy and governments couldn't afford to fund healthcare or pensions. Bring back the good old days, Rupert? But 10 minutes after boring the pants off everyone with his pointless speech, that's when our racist Rupert made an absolute tit of himself.
That the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. The contrary, no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. One of us has got to sit down, Rupert. I've got to do my bit. You're coming back on in a minute, don't we? So, who will prepare to bring in the bill?
Mr. Speaker, Richard Tice, Jim Allister, myself and others.
You've got to name them. You can't not name them.
McMurdo.
And a one, right, okay.
Rachel from account. Maybe Rachel Reeves, I don't know.
Can you just read the names for clarity so the Hansard's got it?
Tice, Jim Allister, James McMurdo, Lee Anderson, and myself.
Oh. It's a shambles. Absolute shambles. Rupert Lowe.
Future leader.
Second reading what then?
24th of January.
The 24th of January. Right, the clerk will now proceed to read the orders of the day.
Yeah, get the fuck out, you dickhead. I just hate these absolute morons. To these clowns, everything is just a game to them. Something to brighten up their boring lives while their money just looks after itself. You know, what annoys me even more about this clown's nonsense and this absolute shambles after. It was the second reading of the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill that was about to get underway. Yes, a bill that would have helped to protect children from predators and to help protect them from harm. And how did Refork vote on this? I think we can all guess, can't you? I absolutely detest these utter waste of oxygen. A fucking lot of them. Sorry for the rant, but I just hate them. But if you enjoy everything House of Commons and Select Committee meetings, like and subscribe, and I'll leave the video here before I blow a gasket.